there, thank you for coming out today. We're here today as part of Salt Lake City's ongoing effort to be as transparent as possible about our public safety efforts with our residents and to increase access to crime data at the neighborhood level so that residents can be informed. The work of the Salt Lake City Police Department is fundamental to providing safety and security in all of our communities and supporting the well-being of Salt Lakers and visitors in every neighborhood during all hours of the day and night. The city's police officers work tirelessly to respond to all types of calls with compassion, urgency, and courage. They're also called to wear many different hats, and they put themselves in the line of danger to serve others. I want to thank our police community response team. We call them the PCRT. They have been working hard in relieving some of the pressure on patrol officers, allowing our patrol officers to more efficiently respond to calls for service. The PCRT has become an essential part of public safety in Salt Lake City. Since its inception last January, the PCRT has responded to nearly 3,400 calls for service. They're spending an average of 42 minutes on each call. They've relieved patrol officers from more than 2,300 calls. And they've investigated nearly 900 911 hang-up calls for service. These are calls that patrol would have otherwise handled. Because of the department's commitment to community-based policing, Salt Lake City has achieved a 7-year low in crime. Crime is down 17% year to date. While those statistics speak for themselves, I want to share a couple of success stories with you before I turn the time over to Police Chief Mike Brown and our Director of Intel and Analysis, Lindsay Larson. Salt Lake City police officers successfully carried out a long-term investigation last year at the New Yorker nightclub. They executed search warrants and seized 4 firearms, marijuana, cocaine, cash, and more than 100 bottles of alcohol. As part of that investigation and in response to several shootings, the Salt Lake City Police Department launched a crime suppression operation and conducted enhanced weekend patrols downtown, specifically around the New Yorker nightclub. Between June 9th and July 15th of 2023, the efforts of this enhanced patrol operation resulted in the arrest of 15 people, seizure of 6 firearms, including 3 rifles, more than 30 traffic stops, and more than 50 community contacts with officers. Additionally, officers have seized cocaine and marijuana during this work. Last year, the Salt Lake City Police Gang Unit started an investigation into the illegal sale of THC cartridges. The investigation has resulted in the arrest of more than 10 people and the recovery of more than 15 firearms. The suspects involved in that case are gang associates, and they've been involved in violent crimes. The investigation resulted in the recovery of more than $350,000 worth of THC cartridges and more than $30,000 in cash. These are just a couple of examples of the amazing work of Salt Lake City Police Department in the last several months. I want to thank our officers, and I want to express my deepest gratitude for their service and their sacrifice. Thank you to Chief Brown for your leadership and your partnership. Salt Lake City Police Department is making a tremendous difference in our community that not only impacts the lives of our residents every day, but their work also generates safety and security for future generations years out from tomorrow. I'm going to turn the time over now, as I said, to Chief Brown, followed by Lindsay Larson.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Mendenhall. I appreciate that. I'm incredibly proud of the work our police officers, our detectives, and professional staff have done to lower crime. This is without a doubt a collaborative effort that has touched every aspect of our police department. 2 years ago, our executive team here at the Salt Lake City Police Department established 4 pillars that have guided us in our work. We have made significant strides to meet those goals. These achievements would not have been possible without our officers, detectives, and professional staff. Their commitment to our community has resulted in a historic 15-year low crime. But let me be clear, and while we applaud and celebrate this achievement, we are not done. Our four pillars remain the same. We will continue our efforts of lowering violent crime. We will continue hiring efforts to fill all sworn positions. We will continue expanding our community outreach efforts. And we will continue to improve our response times. In 2020, the nation saw a rapid spike in crime that continued over the course of 2 years. While some people have called 2023 America's peace wave, make no mistake, the reduction in crime we have seen here in Salt Lake City is because of the intentional and dedicated work of our officers and our criminal justice partners, including the U.S. Attorney's Office. 2020 posed some of the most challenging times for law enforcement. To those police officers who stayed, thank you. You have proven your willingness to forge through tough times, and you are meeting one of our department's core values, our commitment to our community, and I could not be more thankful. Many police departments grappled in 2020 and 2021 to enact strategies to effectively drive down crime. Here in Salt Lake City, we faced our challenges head on, and we did it the Salt Lake City way. We involved our police family, our community, and listened to and followed the data. We were willing to make changes quickly to disrupt the crime happening in our city, reducing victimization and support survivors of crime. In 2023, Salt Lake City saw nearly a 10% reduction in violent crime, a 12% reduction in property crime, and overall crime in Salt Lake City dropped just over 11%. This is not a fluke, nor is our mission accomplished. Our work is not done. Our successes are because of our strategies and our people. We implemented our violent crime reduction plan and have recentered our police department around a new business model known within law enforcement as stratified policing. While homicides for 2023 remain unchanged when compared to 2022, with 16, I must recognize the tremendous work of our homicide squad. Of the 16 homicides for 2023, none are considered unsolved. One of the 16 homicides has been determined to be self-defense, and 13 of the 16 cases, the District Attorney's Office has issued charges. My heart goes out to the families who have lost loved ones in our city due to violence. These are traumatic cases, no matter the situation, but I am deeply impressed with the commitment of our homicide detectives. As police officers, we are driven to do everything we can, using every resource to identify the suspects and hold them accountable. This is a team effort incorporating our sworn staff and our professional staff. In 2023, our crime lab unit responded to more than 4,600 calls for service and completed more than 600 lab requests. Of those 600 lab requests, nearly half involved firearm analysis and comparison. Our work is nonstop, and while other cities across the nation saw car theft skyrocket in 2023, we are bucking the trend because of our auto theft unit and their initiatives. This small but dedicated team of detectives have worked relentlessly. Because of their work and coordination with the District Attorney's Office, utilizing new technology to quickly locate stolen cars, and doing community outreach, we saw a 30% decrease in stolen cars last year. This proves that we, here in Salt Lake City, are setting a standard. Because of our work, we are making it crystal clear that Salt Lake City is safe. Our city is thriving, and we are excited to see our city grow. We are one of the oldest police departments in the country. We have always been a department of innovation. We are one of the first police departments in the country to embed social workers into patrol. Our innovation continued last year when we implemented a new non-sworn community response team to take low, non-hazard calls for service, like the mayor just spoke about. That team has taken more than 3,000 calls for service since July of 2023. We are finding new ways to connect with our community members to make filing a police report even easier. We are listening to our community members and taking a multifaceted approach to consistent policing. As we do that, I cannot reiterate how instrumental data is in helping us achieve these positive results. In our police focus areas, in our Pioneer Patrol Division, we spent 2,600 hours of dedicated patrol time and saw a 43% drop in crime. Our Central Patrol Division spent 3,200 hours of dedicated patrol time and saw violent crime drop by 5%. And our Liberty Patrol Division spent 2,900 hours of dedicated patrol time in their focus area and saw violent crime drop by 49%. That is why I'm happy to announce and introduce our new crime dashboard. Last month, we invited news editors and news directors and editors, along with community members and business leaders, to preview our new dashboard. We got great feedback from those who attended, and we appreciate their insight. Our new dashboard provides interactive use and allows people to look at crime citywide or break it down by council district, police division, or more granular into community council districts like the Ballpark neighborhood. And as you'll see, in the Ballpark neighborhood, we saw a 32% decrease in violent crime in 2023. As chief, I look forward to celebrating the accomplishments to come in 2024. We will not let up in our efforts. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn the time over to Lindsay Larson. She's the director of our Intel and Analysis Unit, and she'll walk us through our dashboards. Thank you. We'll give it to you.
Thank you, Chief Brown. So I'm going to walk you through a demo of the new crime dashboard. It's already live on our webpage. You'll go to Open Data and then Crime Statistics. And we've already got the dashboard embedded on the page. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll have an option to make it full screen. And then for the next few weeks, we're going to have this tutorial available so that members of the public get used to this new format and understand the buttons and the filters that are available to them. So I'll just walk you through it quickly. To start, we have this left-hand pane that has filters that look at the year or the month or a geographical area within the city. And then down here at the bottom, we've got when it was last updated. Our plan is to have the data updated by the 5th business day of every month. Some functionality we've added in is you can actually select the crime or the total, and it will filter these visualizations down here. I will demonstrate that in a moment. And then we've got 3 helpful buttons up there in the corner. The yellow arrow is to reset the data, so if your browser caches something and you just need to reset it, you can click that. The I gives you information on the data sets, and then the question mark lets you redo this tutorial. So this is the dashboard. You can select here different years going back, and then you can pick months, so I could look at July's data for 2023. Coming back here to January. Then we can select our area of interest. So we've got citywide stats. You'll notice that there's this other section, and that just refers to incidents that don't map within Salt Lake City's jurisdiction, meaning officers may have assisted another agency in the valley, so you can still see that work, but it won't count towards the citywide numbers. We've got council districts that you can select, police divisions, and then community councils. Now, one thing to note with community councils is that with the previous dashboard, we weren't able to account for the overlap of boundaries with community councils. We've now done that with this dashboard. So for example, we've got Yale-Crest and Keep Yale-Crest, and they overlap a little bit. So right now, if you pull up Keep Yale-Crest, and let's say there's a crime that occurred in that overlap, it's going to count in Keep Yale-Crest and it's going to count in Yale-Crest. So just be aware that if you try to sum those, you will in some cases be double counting crimes when there's that overlap. So now let's take a look at the chart and the table and the visualization. This blue section here is showcasing the selected month. The green section over here is your year-to-date. Now at the moment, those are the same. But next month, this will be February, and then that will be January through February. As I mentioned before, you can actually click on the individual crime, and the visualization will update below. You can select the total, and you will get total violent crime. Similarly, under property, you can select total there, and you'll get total property crime. To take off that filtering, just click on it again. It will unhighlight, and then you'll get the original charts. This helps when labels don't always appear because our violent crime is so much lower than our property crime. So yeah, that's a quick overview. Does anyone have any questions on how to use it? All right.
How frequently is it updated?
It will update each month by the 5th business day at the latest.
Any other questions for us?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Sorry. Yesterday, Governor Cox, after his visit to the Mexico border, he said you can literally walk through downtown Salt Lake City and see the impacts of those drugs that are coming across the border with Mexico. What's your response to his remarks?
Our data doesn't show any increase related to immigration changes at the border. And for decades, we have had Honduran cartel and other cartels in this city. That is something that we have worked very hard and across federal and other public safety partnerships to try to affect. Chief, you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, I hired on in 1991. It was cartels that were bringing the dope into Salt Lake City. Back then, it was heroin. Now it's fentanyl. But it doesn't matter who's bringing it here. We won't change our enforcement. If you're here to spew that type of poison in our community, we will arrest you. And we'll do it with our federal partners, our state partners, and we'll hold you accountable.
Chief Brown, do you have a reaction to the verdict of Thomas Cable today?
You know, we're not taking questions on that today. I'm sorry. Thank you, though.
Anybody else?
I know you've talked recently about more of officers being able to seize illegal firearms and people in possession of firearms that shouldn't have been in possession of those. And I know you and also Sheriff Rosie Rivera have talked about the importance of responsible gun owners securing their firearms to be sure that they aren't used in crimes. I saw there was a bill in the legislature that targets that specific thing with responsible gun ownership. Have you spoke with the sponsors of that bill at all, or spoke with the DA about kind of what that looks like?
I haven't spoken to the leadership on the Hill on that, but we've been saying that for years. We've stood in press conferences with the district attorney, Sim Gill, Rosie, and called out and asked for people to be responsible, because there's some, to be responsible is one thing, but when you're not, those guns end up in the hands of people that are willing to commit, violent crimes in our community. So yeah, it's something that's paramount to what we do, and it's a preventative aspect of violent crime here in Salt Lake City.
All right, thanks for coming out.
Oh, Chief, really quick, you mentioned fentanyl and finding fentanyl. Where are you finding the source of it?
Fentanyl seems to be everywhere. So, kind of going back to how I answered that before, is that it doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter where it's sold. We're going to find you and arrest you.
Do you want to talk about the upstream efforts that our police department's doing?
Yeah, look, we have a partnership with DEA. We have one of our lieutenants embedded over there. And so we're an active participant. They work a lot of times out of sight and out of mind. They do great work, but we'll find where people are selling it on the street. We'll track it back to a home or a house or further. We'll go as high as the cartel level people that are bringing this stuff into Salt Lake City. So, like I say, if it's on the street or from Mexico, we're engaged in that, in any type of enforcement.
Would you say drugs are the biggest problem right now in the city, or what takes up most of the police department's time? What crimes are you responding to most?
There, Pat, there really doesn't seem one we can point at, but what I like about our approach is that it's multifaceted. If it's drugs, we can address it. If it's mental health, we have social workers embedded within our police department. We can reach out and be very compassionate in our efforts to offer people resources, but also hold people accountable.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I have a quick-